Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Why Won't You Love Me? Anyway, we're going to be doing this with my two guests today. They have no idea what just went on, but I will explain to them after this. And actually, you guys are my first set of actors. I had Diane a couple of episodes ago. However, she came in as a singer. But I think you guys are my first set of actors. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Carmen Soo and Melissa Campbell from First Wives. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing so good. Can I just say that I am like fangirling my inner child and my inner girl is fan because I'm sitting next to the Carmen Soo. Like I need to say because we didn't get to. I can't say too much. No, but I've always looked up to Carmen. And when I was brought on to be part of this and that they casted Carmen Soo, I was like, oh my gosh, because I looked up to you for so long, and to be able to share a screen with you, I'm just like bucket list. So that I'm sitting next to Carmen Soo and I'm doing a podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I have to say, I remember you when you were little. Yeah, Anna and the King.
That's actually so true. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But we're actually here to talk about First Wives, which is a new show that recently premiered. I mean, we're 4 episodes in, so we're going to be chit-chatting about the themes that that's covered in First Wives. So when I watched the first 4 episodes, the showrunner, Catalina May Hubbard, correct? That is your full name. She actually described the show as like an ode to sisterhood. So I thought that on today's episode, we would talk about sisterhood and also how it impacts our romantic relationships. Before we actually start on the questions, we usually like to just iron this out. I'm in a relationship, and what are your relationship statuses if you're comfortable with sharing that?
I am married. I've been married for 2 years.
Love.
I just had my first baby. He's 9 months. Married 2 years, but we have been together 8 years. And I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Yeah.
I love that for you.
Yeah, but we met when we were 13, 14. Looking back now, I totally had a crush on him, but didn't know what to do with it. I was just discovering boys for the first time. And he like, yes, and he confessed his feelings for me, and I said something really stupid. I said something stupid,
you.
as you would at 13 years old.
Yes.
I said something like, I will always have a soft spot for you.
Oh.
What the hell was that? What the, and rightly so, he was like, okay. He didn't.
Which you did. You do.
I did, but I was nervous because I didn't know how to. I didn't know what boys. I just entered Form 1. I just entered. I just entered Form 1, Form 2. Then I didn't know what it was.
But honestly, it takes guts to even say that out loud, yeah?
Yeah, for him, I was 14. He was 13, but he was like, I'm gonna. But anyway, he didn't want to talk to me after that. He didn't talk to me.
Oh, he was freaked out.
No, he wasn't. He was more like, okay lah.
Oh, I see.
Didn't talk to me for
Playing
years.
hard to get.
Really? No.
Oh, so you guys played the long game.
Play a long game. We both went our separate ways, and then when I was in my 20s on the States, he slipped into my Instagram comment section, and I was like, wow, flash from the past. Like, it all came back, and I was like,
And Carmen, yourself?
I have been married for 10 years. We've been together for 13 years, and we have a daughter. She's 7 years old.
no.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. This is almost embarrassing because I'm obviously much less experienced than you guys.
Different age group,
No,
right?
but I'm actually always hoping to learn something from the people that I invite onto this show. So, I mean, I hope that I get to learn a thing or two from my kakaks for today lah. Yeah, basically. So, my first question is, you know what's wild? Sometimes it feels like girls know you better than the person you're dating or you're married to. Why is that? Do you guys agree with that?
Yes and no. I think it's not fair to say all relationships are the same because every relationship have different dynamics and some people are just lucky to be best friends with each other.
Yeah.
And some people are life partners. So I think every relationship is different, but I think girls know us better because we share a lot more things that we may not share with our other half. And giving a very shallow example, like period pain or having bad headache, you know, I can tell my husband, I'm having a bad headache and I need to go to this event. It's not staying still. He's like, oh, okay, maybe you just put something. If I call my friend, hey, you know how, oh, like this, you curl like that, use this product. So they understand us in this sense. But of course, on a deeper level, they will understand the struggles. For example, childbirth, pregnancy. For example, when I tried to tell my husband something and he's not really getting it, I was like, why doesn't he understand? How should I tell him? How should I tell him? Tell me, how should I tell him? So I think these are more on a deeper level.
Right.
And I think with friends, there are many, many different types of girlfriends. There are girlfriends that we travel with, those we share our secrets with.
Ones for a fun time.
Some you go for a dance, or some you just go and have deep talks. So I think all these girls in my life collectively probably know me, a whole me than my other half.
Maybe my issue is that I maybe overshare with my husband. He really is like my best friend.
Right.
I consult with him on everything from my hair or whatever that I have to make. But some people say, right, you shouldn't burden your partner too much. And that's why with some things that they say you should take to a therapist, or some things you don't want to maybe it's like it's your own issues, but you want to pack them onto your partner and they can't help you with everything, especially when it's your own, right? So sometimes I think I'm probably guilty of maybe oversharing, and I should be the one that should pull back and be a little mysterious sometimes.
Interesting.
You know what I mean, right? Maybe I need to be like, oh man, tight hug a little bit. Maybe I'm showing a little bit too much to keep it interesting. Because that's the other side that I hear as well, right?
Yeah. I don't think so, though. I think it's really nice that you have that,
that dynamic.
Friendship, that you have that, because every time you share something and he gets it, the bond develops even deeper.
Yeah.
And there's this trust and you reach, I'm sure you've seen couples where, something's going on and they just need to look at each other and they understand.
Yeah.
They don't need to say anything. And these things takes time and conversations and openness and trust to be able to have that. So I think you're in a good place.
Yeah. I mean, okay, from my perspective, listening to the both of you, I mean, you guys give very different perspectives that I didn't really consider. And with that being said, what you were saying as well is also something that I do agree with. There are certain things that like I share with my girls and I don't share with my partner. And there are certain things that I share with my partner and I don't share with my girls. I'm not the kind of person that like shares everything with my partner and leaves nothing for my friends. And I'm also not the kind of person that shares everything with my friends and leave my partner out of it. Because it's so nice to have like your partner being your best friend as well, right?
Yes.
Like, I guess we all try to, I'm a believer at least that like, you gotta have some friendship dynamic in a relationship to make it last. Because it's not just like lust, right? Forever and ever and ever. Yeah, it fizzles out.
That fizzles
exactly.
out.
Yeah, but that you're also building this bond and trust with your girlfriend. So I have girlfriends from the time I was in school and also throughout my 20s.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm older. They've been friends with me for so long and they've seen me through all those, which is what you're building right now.
Yeah.
Iterations of yourself.
Yes.
And theirs, you evolve.
Yes,
and
changes, challenges.
they evolve and
Yeah. No, I mean, it actually just leads into my next question, which is, have you guys personally gone through, I mean, share or don't share, it's okay, up to you guys, but have you guys personally gone through something particularly heavy where you felt like your friends showed up for you more than your partner did? For me, I mean, I've gone through tons of things that I didn't necessarily feel like I had to keep my partner out of it, but like it was just something that I knew my friends would understand a little bit more. I don't have to over-explain.
I think after I gave birth, because I didn't, it was just me and my daughter because my husband went back to work after a few weeks. And I didn't have a helper and I was very overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed and I was like, the whole breastfeeding and tiredness and I need to feed myself well so that I have milk, all these stresses that my husband was very, very hands-on, still is.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of things that he wouldn't be able to help. For example, he's at work. So my girlfriends will come and then they will hang out with me and they'll carry my baby for a while. And then I just get like, I need to rest for a while, So just giving me, a hand here and there. And whenever I tell them, anything like, I just little things that happen. Last
Yeah.
time my baby woke up and she wouldn't want to go back to sleep, and they just get it. Yeah.
And it's not to discredit our partners, right? Of course not. We're not saying like, oh yeah, they're slacking, or like, yeah, they're not good enough, or they're not doing much. And we're not in any way devaluing them. It's just that sometimes our friends just get it
Yes.
a bit more.
Yes.
Right.
I have something to say on that.
Yeah,
I know
yeah, go
some
on.
might find it a little bit maybe controversial, but I think it's really important that you hold on to those female friendships are incredibly important, because I think it's a red flag. Sometimes you come across a partner, they may try to isolate you from certain friends. And when they know that you don't have anywhere to go, that benefits them.
Yeah.
You'll probably stay in that relationship a lot longer.
Yeah, the narcissistic type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah.
that happens. But I've always had friends in my life, at least my close ones, or maybe I don't approve of the person you're with right now, or I'm not, but know that I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you if you're being an idiot. But okay, let's figure this out and what we're going to do, what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
And I think we have to hold on to those. I know that we can get wrapped up sometimes in a relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's normal. But I do feel like sometimes women, we have to sort of protect ourselves, and knowing that, hey, if anything goes, know that I have a support system. I have friends. You are not my only support system.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
so you have that confidence as well to know that if anything
Yeah.
goes awry, you're going to leave.
Yeah.
You're not going to continue in something like this
Yeah.
that's not working for both of you,
Yeah.
or is damaging.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have previously been in relationships like of this nature, but like I feel like a lot of people do go through like literally exactly what you just described.
Yeah.
These super toxic relationships where you are super isolated and you end up
Yeah.
drawing yourself back from your friendships.
Or you're scared to even tell your friends what's going
Yeah.
on. Maybe
Yeah.
you're going to feel you're going to be judged.
I remember suddenly that when I was younger, I have girlfriends who told me that, when you were with this guy, you were just really weird. Yeah, you were always checking your phone, and the moment he calls you, you gets up and leave, and this energy about you, and you were not really happy, and everything was about him, and just things that nobody else will tell you,
Yeah.
because they know you and they care about you, and they basically decided to say something. Some people
Yeah.
know, but they don't tell you,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, these are really, really.
And the sad
important
part
things.
is you don't really, well, because you're the person who's in that relationship or in that position, you don't know that it's
can't see it.
happening. That's the
Yeah.
scary part, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't understand like what's actually happening to you until someone, I guess, your friend plucks up the courage. And it takes courage, to actually like say to your friend, like,
Yeah.
look, you look like you're in a really tough spot. You kind of need to rethink this relationship. I love you, and this is why I'm saying this to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, moving on to we've touched a little bit about what I'm gonna move on to, which is basically exploring that gap in romantic relationships. So, we're 4 episodes in, and Michelle and Roshan.
Yeah.
I've been in relationships personally where I've had to. Do I feel like I had to, or I just had to? No, I had to. I had to carry the weight of that relationship on my shoulders because, simply put, my partner was just a loser.
Yeah.
Basically, just neglecting the relationship as a whole. Can we talk a little bit more about that
Yes.
dynamic?
I think Roshan is a little bit a good example of what we call weaponized incompetency. Like, there's a bit of that. But don't get me wrong, what he's going through and why he is in the position he is, it's because, look, he's going through depression. He's had an injury. He was
Yeah.
once this hero. He was in a role of being, he was a fireman, right? He was used to saving people. He was going out and he got hit by this and he's unable to work. I can sympathize with that. When the weaponized incompetency parts is you've had a partner, you've had Michelle who's decided to, she's had to step up and she's like, okay, if you can't do it, I'll do it and I'll do all of it. And then he feels like it's okay.
Okay.
He feels like it's okay. I've seen that a lot. I have some friends who I feel like their partners are being a bit incompetent, but at the same time, I'm like, are you weaponizing it? Why do you keep doing this for him anyway?
The reality is that after a while, like the partner who's carrying the weight, you're kind of feeding into it. So after a certain point, you gotta stop blaming that person who is weaponizing their own incompetence, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you gotta ask yourself as well, like, why do we mother these partners. And I saw that a lot, especially in the first like 2 episodes. I did have sympathy for Roshan. I did. But I had even more sympathy for Michelle. Because, again, I feel like a lot of, not just women, I think men as well, a lot of people have been in her shoes.
Yes.
Where, like, again, the weight is just not being pulled evenly, right? You're supposed to be giving 50-50. Yes, there are certain situations where maybe your partner can only give 30 today and you got to give that 70 and you got to pull it a little bit. Yes. I mean, of course, I think it's healthy to also make space for that, of course, right? Our partners are not expected to be perfect all the time. But the dangerous part is that complacency. In summary, it just looked like he needed her more than she needed him. So if she decided to walk off tomorrow, she'd be fine. And he would be basically
A wreck.
a wreck.
But I think
That's-
that
yeah.
when we audiences, we watch a show like that, or even if we see somebody we know who is going through that, I think it's a very, easy conclusion to make, which is also possibly an accurate conclusion. However, when you're in it, right, you're just kind of like, I mean, if somebody were to tell her that, let's say, this is what he's going to do, and he's going to, like, let's say, keep messing up.
She'll say no.
Yeah, she will say no. But
I
when
don't
you're
think he
in there
will.
every day, okay, I'm in this zone where I'm supporting him. He needs time. He's injured, and he cannot work. I have to step up. And she just kind of sings that tune because that's really the only thing you have.
Yeah.
Because at which point did you think it's you or anyone going through that would think that it's okay, you know what? I'm done. Because there's so much at stake. There's family,
Family,
you're
yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what's going to happen? And you also probably think as well, how much patience should I give to this to know that it's okay to walk away?
Yeah.
You know, that, like, what is it? Like, do I take this for another month or does he mess up another time? Because you actually don't know. So you just people just kind of go along and just probably everybody have like, okay, if he does this again, I'm going to leave. Or something just snaps one day out of the blue and it's like, I've had it. So I think it's very realistic what Michelle is going through.
Yeah.
And just trying to find solution.
She's just trying
Right. Yeah. Okay. This is something I can do. I have this idea. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
But this is where I guess the female friendships come in. Do you see how I'm tying it all together? Have you guys ever had to talk a friend out of being in a dead end relationship like that? But yeah, have you guys ever had to, I don't know, talk a friend out and be like, girl, come on.
Yeah.
It's time. It's
Yes.
time to go. We gotta go.
Yes, I have.
And how was that? Was that difficult? Like, how did you handle it?
The kind of relationships that I have with my girlfriends and vice versa is I like to have a very truthful and very honest relationship. The same way I hope that you tell me when I'm being an idiot, I'll tell you if you're being an idiot as well. I'm not going to judge you, whatever you know, I'm going to be by your side, but I hope you can just consider this, and this. I'll be there. If you want to continue, I'll hold your hand. And if you fall, I'll be here as well. But I have had to tell my friend. At the same time, though, it's like I try to approach it with empathy because...
Do you feel bad?
I do, because I
Right.
always think about that. I'm like, okay, you're doing this because maybe you're lonely.
Yeah.
There's a part of you that companionship. But I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't tell you truthfully, like what I think you may be getting yourself into. It's like practical thinking versus wishful thinking, and yeah, that answer the question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a difficult situation as
Yes.
because you don't want to, meddle in anyone's relationship. Of course not. But as your friend, they're coming to you crying, right?
Yeah.
They're coming to you crying. They're coming to you complaining, talking about their problems and all of that. At some point, when push comes to shove, you just got to be like, come on, you deserve better.
I remember in my 20s, I have this friend, and she went out with this guy for a few years, and he kept on cheating on her.
Okay.
And there was one time she traveled somewhere, and we all went out, and we bumped into him with another girl.
Oh.
And he actually came over to our table to say hello.
The audacity of
Yeah. So
That's
between
sickening.
us, everybody's like, I'm not going to tell her. Okay. So I thought somebody should. So I told her, and then they had a fight, and then she didn't leave him. And she told him that Carmen said, I should leave you, which is not cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I from that experience, because it went on for a few years, and I was like, yo, you shouldn't say that to him, because whether you leave him or not has nothing to do with what I tell you, right? So anyway, from these experiences, I've learned that just like what you say, don't meddle. But I also do what you do. I'm very forthright. So whenever something happens, I always know that when you're in the situation, you cannot actually see the situation as what it is. So somebody has to tell you from, the bigger picture. So I'll give her the pros and the cons. This is what's happening. If you do this, if you leave him, this is what's going to happen. If you don't, this is what's going to happen. So you decide.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, this is what I think you should do. However, I think that when a person is troubled, they always know the answer. They always know the solution. It's just that whether they cannot decide, they haven't come to the right time to decide, or they don't have the courage, or something just has to click. So I just feel that they already know what they have to do, whether they're going to forgive the person or they're going to leave, but they just need to go through a certain process where they will just make up their mind at some point. So I leave them to go through their process.
Live their life as well, right?
Yeah,
So you
because
have
I don't
to.
want to be the kind of person that every time she comes, it's like, he's mean to me again. I don't want to be always the person. So I told you not to, because
Yeah.
then
It's so
I know that
discouraging hearing
she
that.
won't
Yeah.
she won't tell me anymore,
Yeah.
because she will stop. I said, did it happen? And it's like, no, she didn't, but I know she's lying.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be that kind of person. I
Yeah.
just want to be like all ears, but it's like, I already tell you what I think.
Yeah.
You can complain to me 100 times.
Yeah.
You decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you guys. I mean, do you guys have any, I guess, closing tips for how to handle a friend who's going through a really, really difficult relationship?
For me, and this is, for me personally, what has made me feel so much more secure and supported is that when I've had a friend, and I will say this back, is, listen, my door's always open. If you need a place to stay, if you need a sofa to crash on, please know that I'm here. Don't think twice. If you need to get out of a situation, I'll come. Whenever you're ready. And that's helped me a lot, just to feel definitely less alone. Is knowing that I have a safe place to go to. I think a lot of people stay in things that they shouldn't, because they think that they
They don't have a way out.
don't have a way out.
Similar like what Melissa said, I think that they usually feel very alone when they're going through that. So I think just letting them know that I'm all ears, and they can tell me the same story 100 times. It's okay, I'll listen. And I'll tell them what I think 100 times too. And just very specific things like, you whoever this person is, you kind of know what they need, whether they need a place to crash, or they need, let's say, money, or they need to start over, whatever it is, just to be able to let them know that it's okay, your friends have your back. I also like to add that there's something that I read recently about our own personal energy when we help people who are troubled. So I also have to be aware of carrying the weight of all my friends' troubles, right?
Right.
So there's also juggling that, because we need to be in a state of mind where we are neutral and helping them, and not sometimes when my friend call me like, oh, it's 2 a.m. and I'm like, I really need to sleep. But you just need to, there's like boundaries and basically learning to juggle. And it's like, okay, girl, you've talked for 2 hours. You need to go to sleep now, So that's also, whatever is it that we try to do for everybody else, we should also watch out for ourselves as well. And realizing how much of the emotional weight we're carrying for other people as well.
Yeah. And it's not to say that our friendships are burdensome, but of
No,
course
of
you
course
gotta
not.
protect your energy as well, right?
Yes.
But closing question before we actually wrap up this interview, what did you guys take away from your filming experience on First Wives? Whether it's about love, about female friendships or just friendships in general, or relationship?
Well, shall I
Yes,
start?
yes.
Firstly, the entire shooting experience has been a joy. Imri, our director, created a very positive vibe, very collaborative, and there were like no dramas and for me no problems at all. Like I just had a lot of fun. One thing I learned about my character is that I really can do it all lah. You know, I don't need no man.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
cannot say so much anymore.
Yeah.
Personally, as Mel, I was pretty proud of myself to get through that. Because I shot pregnant up until I was 5 months pregnant when I was shooting.
I
that.
don't know how you did that. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I thought I can say that. I guess I'm proud of myself for doing that.
Sorry to interrupt, but I remember that throughout the shoot, she was still very agile and light. But I remember towards the end, I was like, you look really pregnant now. Heavy.
And that's when the weather was getting to me.
Yeah,
Late.
must have
we
been
had a lot of
exhausted.
overnight shoots.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
starting to feel it
Yeah,
towards
so
the end.
I know how she's feeling, and I'm like, oh gosh, she's like,
But I don't want to complain about it. I don't want anyone to
Yeah.
feel, sorry for me. I think I was more proud of it because I felt like I just wanted to be like, damn, women are great, aren't we great?
Yeah.
Aren't we great?
Yes.
Like, I was thinking about that. I was like,
Yes.
we're making a baby, we can live, shooting a film, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I was like, I can do it. If I can shoot 5 months pregnant, doing 16-hour scenes and all
Overnight
this stuff,
shoots.
I was like, I felt like gave me so much more confidence as well. I feel like from now I'm like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid now. I'm like, whatever it is I take on, I'm like, I can do that.
Yes.
And I hope that whoever sees this does take away from the show they felt seen. Because I think playing Michelle, I hope she's relatable. I hope people feel seen. And at the same time, they come out feeling empowered and feeling that love as well for that girlfriend. Because I feel you can really watch this and enjoy this
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a story about fight, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a story about fight. And when it comes to push comes to shove, I'm really just like amazed at what women can do in life. I'm actually like, what do we need men for again?
Yeah.
Right, if we can make the baby, feed the
Girls,
baby, feed
I have
the
a
many.
problem. Okay,
Make
push up
money.
your sleeve.
Yeah.
Blink your hands together and
Absolutely.
just find a solution.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
It's just do the thing.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you guys. Honestly, like when I watched, again, I haven't watched the entire show. I've literally seen it up until the midway point. But I actually saw bits of myself in every female character in this show. And I'm not just talking about both your characters. I saw parts of myself in both your characters, but I saw myself in Dee. I saw myself honestly in Izati as well.
Yeah.
I saw myself I saw just bits of myself, and I felt, like you said, I felt so seen. I just felt like it really was a celebration of women's strength.
Yes.
Yeah, women's
so
strength.
Definitely.
And not just strength, but solidarity. Thank you, Kat, for
Solidarity,
making it
the friendship.
solidarity. Yeah. And how, again, I don't think this show is like trying to spew any hatred towards men at all. I don't think that the men in this show were even terrible characters. I think they're flawed, but I think all the characters in this show is flawed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, I don't think I didn't look at any of those characters any less
Yeah.
just because they were men, and like the women in this particular show were just particularly strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really did love how this show just celebrated female friendships in general, and just reminded me as well that like I have so many friendships around me that I need to cherish more, and I need to hold a little bit tighter and a little bit closer.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if I'm going through hell and back, it's going to be with them.
Yes.
And I think it's such beautiful messaging, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing the show. Thank you, Kat, as well, for this show, for putting this together, showrunner/producer, and thank you guys for bringing to life such multifaceted and such diverse characters. Yeah, and I really hope that you guys go on to do more roles that exemplify exemplify topics like this.
I hope so too.
We really, really do. So.
But that's it for my spiel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To the
Thank
two of
you for
you,
having us.
Carmen and Melissa, for being on Why Won't You Love Me. It's been such a pleasure having you guys come onto my show today to talk about all things female friendships and love. And yeah, thank you so much. And congratulations on First Wives.
Thank you.
Yeah, till then, I guess, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. We will catch you guys on the next one. Till then, take care and bye-bye.